Bonjour mes amis, et bienvenue au Pendu dans le Cercle de Lune. Hello friends, if this is your first time here, welcome. Thank you for coming. I'm pleased to meet you. If you've been here before, thank you for returning. I'm truly honored. Friends, if you are a returning visitor, you know that this is my series in which I use Tarot de Marseille adjacent or antique Italian decks to help me explore the central message that I get from a larger spread that I read during the week. And I'm in the second half of my deep dive into the Lenormand system. And I've started a new spread for this lunar cycle with that video, what I call a star spread. Other people call it different names. It's big. It's not a grand tableau, but it does have 13 cards, which is big. And there's a lot of meat to that spread. And so what I'm doing now is I'm using a different set of cards to help us explore the message that I got from that spread. And so I would highly recommend that you go watch that video first and then come back and watch this one, because this is a reaction spread. And the reason that I'm going to read these cards the way that I'm going to read them is because of the message that I got from that spread. So I'll put a card up here so that you can hop on over, watch that video, and then come back and watch this one. And remember, you don't have to watch these in one sitting at all. You can watch them in bits and pieces. And just in case you did watch that in bits and pieces, or it's been a few days and you wanted a little reminder of what it was you saw, remember that spread, the center card of that spread was the child card. And so I titled the card I titled this video, Every Day is New. And I think it was about our ability to appreciate the newness of every moment. That's how we're going to live our lives more intentionally. And there was a lot of interweaving of moving from our feeling burdened in the past and our learning and removing ourselves to be able to get more perspective in order to be able to do that. And how that will lead us, that being our ability to appreciate every moment as new, and to give appreciation for and to feel gratitude for every moment, leading to joy, success, love, all of those wonderful things, right? So what I did was I pulled out I'll show you what I pulled out. And no, it's not going to be anything naughty. Let me show you. Let me show you the spread that I pulled for the response to the question I ask every week for this part of my series, which is, what is the central message of the Lenormand spread, the last Lenormand spread? Yes? So let me show you the spread, and we'll talk about the cards, and then we'll start reading. Are you all ready? Here is this week's spread. Friends, what do you think of this deck? These decks? Well, actually, this deck might be more appropriate. Anyways, so I have used these decks on this channel before. It is also what I would consider a companion decks to the Lenormand deck that I'm using this lunar cycle, which is the reason I decided to pull this deck or these decks out. So the Lenormand deck that I'm using is the Lenormand de la Luna. Lenormand de la Luna. And the deck that I'm using in this video, if you haven't recognized it already, is also, both of them are by Patrick Valenza. And this deck is the Trionfi della Luna tarot deck, which were the 3 cards you saw above. And then the 3 cards below are from what he calls the Beast Pack. They are an expansion pack to the Trionfi della Luna. They're kind of like adjacent oracle cards. And so I see them as one multi-functioning deck, but you might see them as two different decks. I don't know what you want to say. Is it one deck or are they two decks? Your choice. So the three cards you saw below were from that expansion deck portion of the Trionfi della Luna, which is a Tarot de Marseille adjacent deck, right? It's Patrick Valenza's reimagining of the Tarot de Marseille. I was right, the Tarot de Marseille. And I love it. I love this deck. And the kooky cool thing is, if you saw, and I hope you did, the Lenormand spread I did for this week with the Lenormand de la Luna, I pointed it out, but the backs to that deck match exactly the backs to this deck, which I think is just the coolest thing in the world. Okay, so friends, what you saw were 2 3-card spreads, yeah? 3 cards above were from the Tarot deck, and there'll be a link in the description box below if you want to get that. There was a link in the description box below the Lenormand spread for this lunar cycle. And I didn't mention that, but you can get the Lenormand de la Luna from Patrick Valenza's site very easily. I think the thing with the Trionfi decks is that they go in and out of print fairly often. So if this deck is not currently available, just wait a little while and I'm sure it will be available again. And it might even be going mass market, I'm not sure. But yes, now will the Beast Pack still be available? I don't know. If it is, it'll be in the description box below. Okay? So, again, 3 cards above from the Tarot deck, 3 cards below are from what is called the Beast Pack, an expansion pack. And I'm going to read those cards as they modify the meanings of the tarot cards above. Yes? So what we're going to do is I'm going to show you the 3 cards from the tarot portion of the deck again, and we'll read those cards together, and then I'll show you the cards from the Beast Pack again, and then we will read those in relationship to the tarot cards. Does that make sense? I hope it makes sense. If it makes sense, let me know in the comments below. If it does not make sense, let me know in the comments below, and I'll figure out a better way of saying that. Okay, friends, so here we go. Let me show you the 3 tarot cards, and let's start reading those together. Here they are. Friends, I forgot to say thank you. Thank you. Thank you for all those things that you do. Thank you for hitting the thumbs up button. Thank you for subscribing. Those actions you do help other people find us, and you help our community to expand, and I'm grateful for you for doing those things. I'm also grateful when you comment in the comment section, because I love hearing from you, and that also helps other people find us, believe it or not. So, thank you for doing those things. And you just saw we had 3 cards from left to right, the 8 of coins, the Knight of Swords, and the 5 of coins. So 1 active, 2 passive cards, right? The coins are the receptive element of earth. The swords are the active element of air. And for me, the Knight of Swords is air of air. I know for some people, knights are fire. For me, the knights, especially in the Lenormand and Smith-Waite decks, they are air of air. Well, they're air. Knights are air, so Knight of Swords would be air of air. Swords being air, knights being air. But then we got these 2 coins surrounding them. And if we were reading with elemental dignities, we could say that they are elementally ill-dignified. Earth and air do not go together well. They struggle and fight with each other. Now, I didn't decide to read with elemental dignities, so I'm not going to go there this time, but that might be something to recognize, is that there's some tension here in this spread. Now, we're going to start off with the 8 of coins, and I'm going to try something new. I'm going to try and insert the picture of the card here for you. The Eight of Coins. I love this Eight of Coins. Now, some other decks will have faces in the coins. Some Italian decks will have faces in the coins, and often the faces of each of the coins is different. In the real old Italian decks, Patrick decided to put the same face in all of the cards, which is a little bit of a devilish, well, a figure with a horn and an earring and a little devilish grin, if you ask me. But I love this Eight of Coins. Beautiful card. And what is the Eight of Coins? The Eight of Coins to me is a card of, it's 8 plus the earth, which is our abundance, it's our resources, financial resources, and all other kinds of material resources. It's also our health, it's our property, it's also the work we do. So, and 8 is this number of perfection. So 8 coins, it's our openness to abundance. Yeah, it's also our caring for ourselves. It's our nurturing health and our balance with nature. But if you also see the card, you also see that there's a uniformity here, right? Everything is in its box. Everything is in its place. So reading the card pictorially, we see that those 8 things are uniform and in their place, right? There's harmony there. There's a little bit of separation, but there's also a connection with those plants. The plants separate, but they also connect things together. They bind things together. So there's a harmonious flow of energies through this well-organized system. It could be routine work. It could be slow, patient advance. It could be a mechanical structure of some kind. But what I see here, now if you know me, you know that I read Tarot de Marseille directionally. And if you noticed, the Knight, which is the only card that had a person with a face on it, yeah, was facing to the right, yes, was moving from left to right and facing to the right, along with its fire-breathing horned horse, which we'll see in just a moment again. So that's the direction. We're going to read from left to right because of the direction that the Knight is facing. So we start off with this openness to abundance. A harmony, a well-oiled machine, right? Routine work, being in balance and in health, which is wonderful, but is a little bit at odds with the Knight of Swords. And I said I wasn't going to read elementally, but I am going to bring that in a little bit because the swords and the earth are ill-dignified. The Knight of Swords does not want to sit there if it were the Knight of Pentacles would be very happy, right? The Knight of Coins would be very happy to be with this routine work, the harmonious flow of energies, the uniformity, being able to open to the slow, steady increase of abundance and caring for self would be all cool and down with that, right? The Knight of Swords is not so much cool and down with that. The Knight of Swords in that atmosphere gets edgy, gets antsy, wants to go riding, yeah? And we look at this beautiful Knight of Swords up here. Lovely, lovely Knight of Swords. Okay, you might say a little bit creepy. We might notice that the Knight of Swords is trampling on a demon below his, her, or their feet. Remember, we're all knights, we're all kings, we're all queens, we're all pages. Doesn't matter whether we're in male bodies or female bodies or trans bodies or cis bodies or intersex bodies. It doesn't matter. We have all of that in us. So our Knight of Swords, our inner Knight of Swords is who? It's our quality of action, the aspect of self that wants to take action, that is impulsive, wants to ride off into the unknown and do the new thing. Yeah? This is the one that's able to and wants to make the leap into the unknown. This is one who has an experimental way of thinking and has an intellect that can bring the new out of the void. This is the night of fighting for the spiritual cause as well. Ready to give testimony, ready to give voice to his, her, or their spirituality. This is not the night of plowing the fields. So this night, even though he's in an environment of abundance and routine work, and again, a well-oiled machine and slow, patient advance, is not satisfied, wants to dart off into the unknown and, yeah, let's do this new thing. Which reminds us a little bit of that, of the child, right? Exploring the new, recognizing that every moment is the unknown. Yeah, every moment we're stepping into the unknown. And we have the opportunity to take action and to follow impulses, and which are wonderful things. As long as we're not fighting against the routine work and the uniformity and the prosperous fullness of what we have already created for our lives. As long as we're not going to abandon our self-care. Right? We don't want to cut ourselves off from the past or even the present as we open ourselves to the new and the present new, surprising exploration of the eternal now, which is always changing and always in transformation. Does that make sense? Because this night is riding right into a whole new mess of coins, a whole new mess of earth with the 5 of coins. Yes, the 5 of coins, which is what? I love this 5 of coins. And I don't know if you noticed this, but the faces on the 2 sets of coins are facing each other through this knight of coins. Yeah? The 5 of coins is what? The 5s, they are breaking out of the box of the 4s. Yeah, they're the breakthrough, the breakout number. So the 4s, with the 4s we achieve stability. We achieve a foundation, which is wonderful. But that stability over time can become stagnation or can feel oppressive if there's no change. So the 5s break that open. So what is the 5 of coins? 5 of coins, that is taking risks, which is something the Knight of Swords loves to do, right? Being innovative, being enterprising, pushing boundaries a little bit, or a little bit, yeah, a lot. Yeah, allowing disruption of the system of the 8s. So something new disrupts the existing structures. This new element can also awaken resistance. Remember, if the knight is resisting the foundation of the 8, then we're going to lead ourselves into trouble. If the knight is able to leap smoothly along with and out of, both are possible at the same time, along with and out of the well-oiled machine of the 8 of coins, then leaping into the 5 of coins with a little bit of disruption doesn't necessarily mean it's going to awaken resistance. And so we want to be aware of that. Are we awakening resistance? Are we resisting that which we have created already? Beginning of a new practice is indicated in the Five of Coins. Practices beyond exercise, beyond nutrition, beyond alternative medicine, beyond all of those things. A new practice of our own. Innovation. Yeah? Are we ready to move into that new practice? It could be a new spiritual practice. And that seemed to be indicated in the Lenormand Spread this week, right? Now the new child is moving into the new, and that could be a new spiritual practice or a new spiritual appreciation of what is, which could be a new practice, right? The ability to open ourselves to the naivete of the child within, and appreciating every moment of every day as a new creation, that could be the new spiritual practice for us, right? That makes sense, doesn't it? I think it does. So yeah, we leap out of the Eight of Coins as the Knight of Swords into the innovation of the Five of Coins, but we want to make sure that we're not doing it because we're resisting the stability and the structure of the Eight. Because if we are doing that and we carry that resistance over into the Fives, we're going to run into problems. But if we can do the action indicated in the Lenormand Spread for this week of appreciating the moment as a gift, a new revelatory gift, with gratitude, then we're golden in this, and this spread points in that direction, I think. The golden coins, yes? The golden coins. Maybe that's the title of this video. So friends, what are we going to do? Let me show you those oracle cards and see how those oracle cards will interact with the three tarot cards above. Are you all ready for that? Here they are. Friends, we have, from left to right, three cards with very intriguing names. We don't see the names on the cards. The first card was the Zalapapas, number 3. Now the Zalapapas, the card in the center, you probably could guess the name, the Harlequin. Yeah, and then the card on the right was the Galagafus. Zalapapas, Harlequin, Galagafus. Anyway, so those are the names. And each one of those is going to be modifying and adding information to the tarot card above. So the first card that you saw was, again, the Zalapapas, and this intriguing elephant head, rhinoceros horned creature with the crab claw for a tail is an interesting creature that is one of a handy or a skillful person. I guess maybe because of the trunk. Now, these are the indications given by Patrick Valenza. Brilliant, brilliant creator. So, a handy or skillful person. This is someone who knows just what to do in any given situation. Having natural gifts and the tools to complete difficult tasks. And this was right below the Eight of Coins card, right? So the Eight of Coins card is modified by, so we, in this, this uniformity, opening to abundance, balance with nature, also slow, patient advance, mechanical structures that are well-oiled, a well-oiled machine generating wealth and health and balance and prosperity, is because we are skillful people. Now we are the Zalapapas. Now we know just what to do in any given situation. Whether we acknowledge that or not, we have that knowing within, and when we utilize that knowing, that knowledge, that skill within, we have created that 8 of coins environment. And we have the natural gift. We naturally have the gift to create that abundance for ourselves. Yes? And we had that indication in the Lenormand spread for this week, that our strength has developed. And that strength has given us the ability to be handy or skillful, to be able to take care of situations, because we've got those gifts developed. Now the next card we had was the Harlequin, right beneath the Knight of Swords, right? Love this Harlequin card. Love it. We got this figure dancing. It's got a rather wizened face, not a lot of flesh on those bones, you might say. But he's holding up two batons with heads, or 2 puppet heads maybe. Both of them animals. One of them looking like it might be a horse. One of them looking like it might be, I don't know, an elephant again. Maybe because it's got such a long nose. I don't know what that creature is. Did you notice do you notice that little pinky sticking out of his left hand holding the elephant-like creature? Or whatever it is with that long nose, yeah? Dancing along in his Harlequin outfit with the horns of hair on his head. Just the coolest little being, yes? What is the Harlequin? This is the happy, carefree personality. It's taking life in stride. Yeah? A strong and sometimes mechanical sense of humor. They're funny. Maybe not so innovatively funny, but they're funny. They could be the leader of a group. But right beneath the Knight of Swords, who is impulsive, wants to act. Yeah, this Harlequin says the knight wants to act in a happy way, in a carefree way. Yeah? The knight wants to take life in stride and not be burdened by the daily tasks of the 8 of coins, which is fine if he's not resisting doing the work as well. If we can do the work and leap forward in gay abandon, yeah, taking life in stride, we're golden again, the golden coins. And we want a sense of humor as we leap into the unknown. That makes sense, yes? And then below the Galagaphus, what do we have? We've got this odd creature that looks like has the tail of some kind of a sea being, yes, some kind of a fish butt, but has 2 very mammal-like front legs, has the skin of a sea creature, but the head of a land mammal with like pig face a little bit, a gray pig, but looks a little bit like a pig to me. Very, very interesting creature. And according to Patrick Valenza, this is a slippery personality. Think of the skin of a fish, right? It's kind of slippery. A slippery personality. Someone who deals in half-truths. A pretender. Someone who tries to blend in, but not for honest reasons, but for not necessarily maniacal purposes either, but because they're being crafty in a negative sense. Yeah, they try to blend in with the crowd only to create an elusive sense of uneasiness in others. They're trying to get others to feel disquiet. And we get that idea looking around us right now these days, yes? I don't know if you've noticed that, but for example, in the United States, now have been a lot of protests, which I'm very grateful for, to the current government, the current presidential government of the United States. There have caused a lot of protests to arise, which I think is a good thing. But there are people who have insinuated themselves within those crowds sometimes who are trying to create a sense of uneasiness in others. Not the empowered feeling of we're standing up to what we see as evil or wrong, but that sense of we got to be careful, we don't know what's going to happen, and we're in danger, or danger is around, or we might be putting ourselves into danger, right? The ones who infuse the crowd with dis-ease. So, what does that mean for our Five of Coins? I think it means that as we're taking risks, as we're being innovative, we want to make sure that we're not doing it to be clever, right? We want to avoid either being or feeling like we're pretenders to the throne. If we achieve success, we want to accept success honestly. We don't want to manipulate people, because there is that possibility that we've got that within us, that slippery, manipulative, half-truth speaking bit of ourselves is not gone. And so we want to, if we feel that voice of that Galapagos rising up within us, that we do not act on it and let it go, so that the voice of the child within can replace it. And then we'll be moving into that Five of Coins with its innovation, with its pushing of boundaries, not in this negative way, but in a positive, joyful, exploratory way, for the benefit of ourselves and others, unmanipulatively, non-passive aggressively, passive support, no, just supportively, in a supportive stance of self and others. Does that make sense? I hope it does. And if it does, let me know in the comments below. If it does not, let me know in the comments below. I'd love to hear what you think. I'd love to see how you would read this spread, especially as it has flowed from the Lenormand Spread that we read earlier in the week. And let me know what you think of this new way of doing cards with the videos. Okay? Okay, thank you. Thank you very much. And in just a moment, the QR code for my online tarot shop will appear. You can scan the QR code, or you can just type in the address, which will also appear, DerekJohnThomas.com. Go over to my shop and see what I have to offer. If you want a reading from me, order, and I'll give it to you. Okay? Okay. Thank you very much. And friends, now, as always, I wish you love, joy, well-being, and pure awareness. Thank you.